Bonne journée et bienvenue à la chien Flying Doctor. Good day and welcome back to the Flying Doctor channel. Today our journey begins at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, France. I'm currently in Terminal 2E in the M Hall and boarding has begun, so it's time for me to get to my gate and get on board the Air France 777 heading back to the USA. Sit back, relax, get ready for another flight review. Well, I'm just outside the boarding area, and to my left is today's aircraft. It is a Boeing 777-300ER that has operated its entire life under the Air France livery. This will be a first for the 777-300ER on this channel, as well as me, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this big jet looks like on the inside. I've got a seat more towards the front of the aircraft, hopefully not directly over the wing and we can actually see some things outside, but either way, we're up for a treat as we head west to Atlanta during the day. Foxtrot, Golf, Zulu, November, Oscar will ferry us across the Atlantic today. This is one of Air France's 10 high-density extra-range 777s that is configured with seating for up to 472 passengers. The forward cabin is equipped with 14 business class seats in a 121 config, followed by 28 premium economy seats in a 242 configuration. The remaining 430 standard economy seats are in 343 configuration, with the exception of the last 3 rows, which are installed 242 to fit the curvature of the fuselage. My seat today is 14 Alpha, a standard economy seat with a great view of the engine, legroom on par with traditional carriers. There's a nice large IFE screen that we'll look at later. There's a standard tray table with a fold-out cup holder. Guess the passenger previously seated here was a bit crummy. Beneath the IFE screen are a standard USB port and headphone jack. Currently, no USB-C ports are available. And after quickly looking underneath the seat I was on and the adjacent seat, I couldn't find a power outlet, although I'm told they are present.
Concerning Air France for your journey, and I give you a note of the good care of the commercial crew led this afternoon by Mr. Sacha. I wish you a very good flight.
Once the boarding doors were confirmed closed, I whispered a joyous yes in excitement of the empty seat next to me. If you've managed to pay attention to any of my previous flight reviews, you'll know that I'm a fan of the entertainment flying by the aircraft right out the window. So, as we are pushed back from the gate, fire up the engines, and make our way to the active, let's take a look at the flight path and figure out what we can expect to see on our journey west. Experience hearing the roar of those engines blast us out of Paris. We've got a nice 180-degree turn towards the west, and we're just passing over clouds, maybe 30,000 feet or so. It's not too much to see. It's a little hazy because of the cloud layer, but this refreshing towelette was a nice touch to the departure services. Shortly after leaving mainland Europe, lunch was rolling down the aisle. Lunch has turned up, and I opted for poulet saucé astrakan et purée de pommes de terre. Yeah, nice try with the pronunciation there. The meal was served with a bottle of water, bread roll, and butter, some sort of vegetable salad medley thing, and for dessert, a little custard? I'm not sure what to call it. Oh, and cheese. In addition to the water, FAs also offered drinks, and I opted for the standard Coke Zero. After unwrapping each dish, the main entree looked quite appealing. The only roadblock between me and the food now was the infamous wooden cutlery. Let's go ahead and test out the pasta, vegetable, risotto, whatever the heck it is, salad. Very flavorful. Strong hints of olive oil and basil. It's very tasty. Something good to have on a hot summer day. Let's dive into the green beans and see what they're all about. They're okay. They're very bland compared to that mixed salad. Go ahead and finish these green beans before we move on to the chicken. It looks like there's a bed of pureed potatoes underneath the chicken and sauce. Towards the end, the taste started to pick up. It might have been the potatoes though. Let's me go ahead and try out the potatoes. No, it's the sauce that is laid over the chicken that was giving me that taste. So overall, the green beans are definitely lacking flavor. They're relatively fresh, but you know, for me to say they're lacking flavor, it's not bad. But someone who's not a foodie, it is what it is. I'm not sure what kind of chicken this is. If it's an actual chicken breast, it looks more like a deli meat that was shaped into very mini chicken breasts. Or maybe that's how chicken breasts are supposed to look like, and what I eat in the States is just the result of a bunch of force-feeding antibiotics, hormones. It's tasty. Now I'm gonna finish everything, not just because I'm a good guy, good boy, and eat all my food, but I was quite hungry. I had arrived at Paris earlier in the morning and anticipated being able to get into a lounge, but the way that Charles de Gaulle airport is set up doesn't really give me the opportunity to switch between terminals. The terminal that we were at only has the Air France lounge. Now you could pay to get into that lounge, but when I tried to do so, they told me no, because I was trying to get in more than 2 hours prior to my flight. I told them I was on a connecting flight, but it didn't seem to work. I came back 2 hours prior to my flight because a shower would be nice and I was getting hungry. And I would have done it if I were given the opportunity about 4 hours or more prior to the flight, but for 75 euros for lounge access for less than an hour, just didn't cut it. For those of you who do have priority pass, there's not a whole lot of options at Charles de Gaulle. There's a Yotel or some funny named lounge that doesn't have great reviews, but excluding that lounge, priority pass doesn't get you anywhere really at this Paris airport. So plan to spend the time in the terminal. On both ends, for at least the night gates, there are sleeping areas with nice lounge-looking chairs. And then within the main hub of the terminal, there's a lot of seating available that looks pretty comfortable. Give the bread here a try. First we got to figure out if this stupid wooden fork can actually cut the bread and spread the butter. Yeah, there's no way that I'm spreading the butter. It's a little too cold. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just eat it like a sandwich. And if I were truly French, I'd probably just eat the butter alone and the bread separately. I enjoy the bread. Who doesn't like carbs? So before we get to the dessert, Air France offers free messaging. If you actually need internet access, it's going to cost about $25 for the entire flight, or about $11 for 1 hour of use. That being said, let's dive into this dessert. I don't think a fork. Try and talk to the mic with a dessert. That doesn't work. I don't think a fork is going to do it. It is kind of like a thick crepe, sweet, doughy a bit, very tasty. That's a pretty good meal. I'm impressed. I think we're just about an hour after takeoff. I'm gonna get some work done. Probably close the window shade here to stop distracting me. And When I'm done, we will check out the in-flight entertainment and see what they have on store. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, what the heck can you see out the window on a transatlantic flight? To that I say, there's always something, and just before getting my laptop out, I spotted a ship that I can only assume was nearing the end of a lengthy transatlantic crossing, going in the opposite direction we were headed. Time to check the speed of this Wi-Fi. It's gotta be faster than what Delta provides for free on transatlantic flights, right? What is going on here? The Wi-Fi on board Air France is adequate for performing web searches and checking emails. It was suitable for my needs and allowed me to accomplish what I needed to do. Let's get back to enjoying this flight. Why was I working in the first place? Alright, well, the work is done. And I took a walk to the mid-galley between the two economy cabins. And there were a few snacks set up to grab, so I grabbed a few. We're just entering the airspace over Canada. FAs have walked up the aisle once, offering water. There was a coffee or tea service after lunch was provided. But right now, I'm interested in seeing what the recline is like. The person in front of me did recline, and it was very surprising. So, here we go. Wow, that is significant, and I'm definitely not going to keep it like that, because when the guy in front of me did, the top of the headrest was basically in my face. So I'm not going to be rude to the person behind me. Right now, I'm going to chill out. Looking forward to getting on the ground back in the States. I resorted to the IFE system, which is stocked with plenty of entertainment, especially for us AV geeks. The first thing you'll notice is that it is relatively large and high-resolution display that is responsive. A handful of interactive guides provide relevant information about your flight or where you are headed, but most people are probably interested in feature films or TV series. The movie catalog was quite extensive, TV series selection was alright, and there were a variety of games to choose from. Of course, I was also interested in the flight map, which accommodated my AV geekery. As an added bonus, the 777-300 was equipped with forward and ground-facing cameras, providing live views outside. If the entertainment is not able to distract you during the flight and you prefer to sleep, a fresh pillow and blanket are provided to each passenger. We are just west of Baltimore and will shortly be passing west of Washington, D.C. That means we are just about an hour and a half away from Atlanta, and as such, the crews come around with a little meal box. So let's see what we got in the Bon Appetit. Alrighty, not bad. Lots of bread. This little bread box was a nice treat, and after trial and error of figuring out the correct way to consume everything, I resorted to making a mess and probably looking like a toddler playing with their food. I couldn't find a clean way to eat the tartare with the bread. With the trip in my past and thoughts having marinated in my brain stew long enough, I think this was an overall positive flight. The 777-300 is a massive aircraft which can transport hundreds of passengers and cargoes across the world. Air France has 61 of these big jets currently active, but they have a very diverse fleet of Airbus and Boeing wide-bodies. I had the chance to fly on one of their air bodies in the Caribbean, but that experience didn't give me the full Air France experience. Having completed my second flight and first long haul with the airline, the onboard service and amenities live up to the SkyTeam standard and kept me comfortable and delivered me safely to my final destination.
Tower from 32 Tango Heavy on the 27 left.
Number 32 Tango Heavy, Atlanta Tower, clear land, runway 27 left, wind 2206, number 3.
Okay, clear to 27 left from 32 Tango Heavy.
The FAs I interacted with were friendly throughout the cabin, and I didn't experience the French arrogance, sometimes attributed to the culture.
Voilà monsieur, bienvenue à Atlanta Aéroport International Arthur Jackson.
Excluding the crumbs behind the tray table, the cabin was clean, free of excessive damage, and kept an acceptable temperature. The food service on this economy flight exceeded my expectations, and the IFE system provided hundreds of hours of media to stream, or an AvGeek-friendly in-flight map and outside cameras. My only complaint, and it's very minor, is to update the in-flight Wi-Fi. I'm sure Air France already has plans to update the current system, and in their defense, they do provide a warning statement that the Wi-Fi is not meant for streaming. This was the final leg of my journey after a trip to Africa. The 3 SkyTeam airlines I flew all had their pros and cons, and I'll let you decide who belongs on top.
Désarmement des toboggans. Vérification de la porte Moselle.
Until next time, thanks for watching. See ya!